Welcome, everyone, to our first match preview episode of 2021. Last week, the United States men's national team announced a big game against Trinidad and Tobago coming up Sunday, January 31st at 7 o'clock on FS1. They wanted to squeeze in a big football match before the biggest football match in the United States coming up the Sunday after that, the Super Bowl. So something to get anticipated the week that we've got no playoffs going on. It's going to be awesome. We can't wait to go over the roster and other games going on around Europe. But we're going to kick it off today with a lot of transfer news, including the biggest one of all, the one that we've kind of had our eyes on, David, for maybe 6 or 7 months now.
Yeah. When it comes to Jordan Morris going to Swansea, it's big news because first, when he was coming out of college over at Stanford, he did have a little trial with Bremen over there in Bundesliga, and they wanted to sign him, and he just didn't feel like going to the Bundesliga at the time. So since he's been out of college, he's been with Seattle now, 5 or 6 seasons
In
now.
a while.
He's won 2 MLS Cups. Been arguably the best player in the MLS over the last 5 to 6 years. Looking in a whole, and I think this is coming at the right time for him. I think he needed to make the move if he wants to have a chance to be on these competitive teams, especially for World Cup qualifying. I think if he goes over there and proves to everybody that he can play over in Europe, and especially being on Swansea, who is in a battle right now for promotion up into the Premier League, it's only going to help him out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said earlier, we've been wanting this transfer for a while, longer than we've had this podcast, longer than most.
Yeah.
I think longer than most American fans have been watching Jordan Morris. I've
Mhm.
felt like a transfer would be right for him and could do
I mean,
really
he's been
well.
ready. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
for
been
sure.
ready for the.
And this is the right spot because this is a team
It
who's
is.
battling to get up to the Premier League. And
Mhm.
if he goes over there, performs well, maybe bangs in a few goals or a couple assists
Yeah,
off the wing, maybe he gets a spot on Swansea for next year.
exactly.
Making him a
And the
Premier
big
League
thing
player.
is he's definitely going to have playing time there. Like,
Oh yeah.
they had people on loans get recalled back to their clubs. That's why they're in search of a striker. I mean, Jordan Morris is a pacey striker. I would say his pace is probably his biggest asset.
Oh yeah. Besides the fact
It's
that he's a
incredible
tank,
watching
like
him.
a running
Oh
back.
yeah, I mean he's a big guy too. But his pace, his shot, I mean physicality. I mean he has all the tools to be a really really good wing player over there for
Yeah.
Swansea.
I think it's awesome for him, and I can't wait. I know it kind of is hard to watch these games. They do have a contract for those of you who have ESPN Plus. Some of their games are aired. I believe their first game that is actually going to be on ESPN Plus isn't coming up until till mid-February. So obviously we'll keep you updated on that. But yeah, I mean it's a great transfer for him. Swansea, mid-season you don't go out and get a loan for a player in January unless you're going to use them. So
Mhm.
they're not getting a transfer. He's not going to sit the bench and wait till next year when there are opportunities. He's on loan. He's only there for a while, and they just announced the MLS schedule is starting April 3rd. So is he going to miss part of Seattle season? We're not really sure yet.
Yeah,
Or
because the loan's for 6 months. I would assume he would,
yeah,
and if he goes over there and plays excellent, Swansea's going to try to get him. They're going to
exactly.
want to buy him, and they're going to want to keep him over there.
Yeah.
If
Let's keep it moving. I mean, I'm excited, but we're going to keep it moving here with them. We've got a lot of transfers. Dwayne Holmes wasn't getting a lot of time over at Derby County.
Mhm.
So he's going back to Huddersfield. I think that's a smart move for him. Find a
Mhm.
lot more playing time in the club that he started on
Yeah.
when he first moved over to England. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I think it's great for him. He wasn't getting much playing time under manager Wayne Rooney, um, and I think it's the right fit. I mean, when it comes down to this, you just need playing time, regardless what division or what team you're playing on. If you're getting playing time and then producing, you're gonna get your chance with the national team.
Yeah, true, true. Now, the second biggest transfer, I guess, will go from this is your guy returning to Norwich, Soto. That kind of shocked me. What do you think?
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere because so I think the plan was, especially with bringing him into the United States camp, they were trying to help him with getting that visa to where he could go play over in England. That's why he's been on loan,
Hmm.
just because he hasn't had the work permit, and it finally came through, and it was kind of just came out of nowhere. And it's like, oh, Soto's back to Norwich. Um, upon reading more information and just seeing some more articles, it does look like he's going to be with the U23 team. But what the manager and the training staff over there for Norwich, they said he's going to have plenty of opportunities
Hmm.
to where if he plays really good with the U23s, he's going to get a chance on the main team.
Yeah.
And this
So
is good for him because he's going to be playing against better competition. Obviously he had that great performance, the two headers when we played over last December, I believe, for the national team. So it's
Mhm.
just great to see him now back with Norwich, who they're at number one, they're place right now in the EFL, and Swansea's number two. So potentially he could be on him and Morris could both be on teams that get promoted into the Premier League for next season.
Yeah, hopefully Fulham gets out of the bottom three though, so that we can just have a lot more players
Yeah, a lot of the
around.
guys in the Prem.
I think this is great for Soto. I think if you're Norwich, you much rather have him playing on your U23 team rather than playing in the second division over in Netherlands.
Hmm.
And the you kind of don't know what's going on over there, and you want to be more hands-on with the player. And I think that's the best spot. I expect him possibly maybe a couple times the rest of the season get called up. Maybe get 15 minutes shout here, 15 minutes there, and just get some more experience playing where his contract actually is. And I think it's awesome.
Exactly.
So all of a sudden, the United States has a lot of defenders playing in Europe. What's going on?
Yeah,
Brian Reynolds, Roma, and after a
the
fight
transfer
between
saga,
Juve
which
and
seemed
Roma,
like it
it
took,
seems
yeah, the saga that seemed like it's been taking a month. He was, it seemed like he was pretty much confirmed over at Juve just last week or the week before. They
Fabrizio
were like, "Oh,
Romano
it's
said it.
100% sure, exactly," and he's never wrong. But yeah, he's going to Roma, and I think it's a better fit for him because he's not going to be getting loaned out. Like he's just going straight to Roma, and they need a right back.
They do.
Florenzi was the right back. He's not playing right back anymore. I believe he's more of a center mid role now. They
Yeah.
think they had him playing, so they definitely need a right back. Reynolds is going to bring the speed, the physicality, and the technical ability. I mean, we've seen him play in the past for FC Dallas, and it's crazy to think. I mean, they FC Dallas loses Reggie Cannon, and then the next guy up, Brian Reynolds. Now he's going to go over to Roma, which is even a
So
bigger club than
they're
where
just producing right backs over there. But
the
like,
MLS is. Just, I mean, it's incredible.
so for a little bit more context here, Fabrizio Romano is a big transfer guy over in Europe, and essentially for the basketball fans out there, the Woj of
The
soccer.
Woj
And he,
bombs,
he
yeah.
always knows what's going on, and he said Juventus pretty much had this locked down, and he was Reynolds was going to go to Juventus and pretty much immediately be loaned to Benevento, who's also in Serie A, so he'd still be getting Serie A game time.
Yeah.
And Roma came in and stole this transfer, and
Hmm.
instead of being on loan over at Benevento, he's going to get a lot of minutes for Roma, which is awesome. And I can't wait to start watching these games, which are all going to be on ESPN Plus. So
And
we've
it's
got
great,
that
the United States right back position is kind of turning into a striker position type battle now, to where we
Oh
have
yeah.
so many different options. I mean, when you look at left back for the national team, we got Robinson, and that's about it. I mean,
Hmm.
who else plays? I mean,
Maybe
because you got
Dest, if
Dest.
you want to call him that.
Yeah, I mean, you can play Dest on the
We,
left, but I
we've
mean, you
talked
got
about our
Dest.
issue before. Dest is our best left back and right
Yeah,
back.
that's what I'm saying. You got Dest, Cannon, Yedlin, and now Reynolds, all right backs playing over start going to be starting and playing in European football. And I mean, it's just insane to see the amount of talent we have at that position compared to where it was, 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, exact 6 months ago. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nuts. But it's something to love. I'd rather have too many than not enough. And last transfer to go through, Mark McKenzie over to Genk, which is a good move for him. And I believe, if correct me if I'm wrong, David, he's already gotten some minutes.
Yeah, he actually started over the weekend in their game against Club Brugge. He played the full 90 minutes. They did take they lost 2-3 against Brugge, but it was his first start for a brand new club. He's been there for about a week, and that just goes to show. I mean, they're in the top division in Belgium. He's playing in Europe now, and he's been there a week, and he's already starting at center back. So it looks like they brought him in, and they're going to have him pretty much starting game in and game out over there for
Exactly.
that club.
Him with him, two big debuts for the weekend. Him and Aronson getting his first minutes over at Red Bull.
Hmm.
So just it's a good time to be a United States men's national team fan. We've said it many times over the course of the last
Yeah.
4 months, and it's just getting better and better
Yeah,
over there.
shout out to both of them. Philadelphia Union, coming out of there, the Supporter Shield, they just won that this past season. So, shout out to both of them. They've had a real great year winning the Supporter Shield, and now both transferring over into European football and already playing after being there for a week. That's
Exactly.
just two more guys to where within this next calendar year they're going to be the competition, and they're going to be have their chances to be on the World Cup squad.
Exactly. And one last little transfer rumor that was going on. Not much has developed from it, but there was a rumor that Paul Areola might have been following Jordan Morris to Swansea. Um,
Hmm.
Nothing more than a rumor right now, but we'll keep everybody posted if anything
Yeah.
develops there. kind of hope so. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'll
It
be
would
real cool
definitely
to
make
see
Morris a lot
Ariel.
more comfortable over there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we see Ariel and Morris over there, and it's great for Ariel because he obviously had the ACL tear, but it does seem like he is pretty much back to where he was before that ACL. He got to play a couple games for DC before the season ended, and then he played the last game with the United States. So it's good to see him back with the squad, and looks like he's 100% back from his ACL injury.
Yeah, for sure. Well, before we take you guys into that USA roster for that game against Trinidad and Tobago, we're gonna do a quick roundup of just what's going on in Europe. We've got too many players to go over in a one episode, so we're gonna hit the big guns. Christian Pulisic, as of yesterday, has a new manager over at Chelsea. It wasn't working under Frank Lampard. As a Chelsea supporter, a little bummed about it, a little happy about it. It's he's a club legend, but he's gone, and it's technically for the right reasons. They had the lowest points per game rate out of the last like 6 or 7 managers Chelsea's had. Even Andre Villas-Boas from 2012 was better.
Hmm.
So, but coming in, Thomas Tuchel, who, for those of you who follow what's going on with him, he was the Dortmund manager who brought Pulisic into the starting lineup. So this can only mean good things, I'm guessing.
Yeah, for Christian Pulisic, yeah, it's great to see him back with Pulisic again. It's been a while. He was obviously at Dortmund, then he went over to PSG, did really good with the club over there at PSG, and now he's coming into Chelsea. And I think this is just going to be good news for Chelsea, and hopefully he can help them turn their season around and at least make push for a top four finish.
Exactly. And I kind of got to say, Pulisic and Chelsea are a little lucky on this one. Thomas Tuchel is a good manager. And if Neymar doesn't miss 2 sitters in the Champions League final, Thomas Tuchel is still coaching at PSG, but he was fired because they didn't win that match. So this is great for Pulisic, and hopefully it'll create that form that we saw over the summer and create what we saw him doing at Dortmund. We got to keep him healthy, and I think they'll know what to do there. They're professionals, and Pulisic's ready for the challenge as always. We've seen with him. So kind of to take it into the Bundesliga, Tyler Adams gets his first goal in the Bundesliga.
Mhm.
He's obviously scored ginormous goals in the Champions League already, but this one probably feels really good for him with how the season's been going over there.
Yeah, he's kind of in and out of the lineup. He'll play one game, then he sets the next game. Then he comes off the bench another game, and then he'll start. So it's real good for him to get this first goal, his first Bundesliga goal. And when he scored, the team was celebrating with him. So it's just going to boost his confidence even more.
Yeah, I mean, he's the starting number 6, no
Yeah,
doubt. I think for
definitely.
the
Yeah,
United
no
States
doubt.
national team, and to see him hitting getting on the score sheet is important. You don't necessarily need goals from back there, but it's good to see that he can produce, and he's always going to produce when he's in the lineup. He's a smart player. He's always in position. He's very good passing the ball, very good
Yeah,
defensively. So he's one of my favorite players on the team. Big props to Tyler Adams. So keeping it up with the Bundesliga, Matthew Hoppe is still getting his starting. He didn't bag one against Bayern over the weekend. I was a little bummed about that. I would have loved to been able to tweet on the Yanks in Europe page that he scored against Bayern, because I'm not a fan of them.
yeah,
But they kind of got thrashed a little bit, which
yeah.
many of us
Four
expected.
4-0. But I mean, what do you expect? I mean, Schalke still is the bottom team in the Bundesliga, and you're playing arguably the best team in
The
Europe,
world,
just
yeah.
not Germany, but Europe in general, like the best team in the world in Bayern Munich right now. And I believe he got subbed off I think around the 70th minute too. So they took him off to give him some rest time, but he's still been playing excellent right now. He's had 5 goals in a 3 match span, um, and to keep it in the Bundesliga and talk about Josh Sargent, who him just so people do know, they're going to be playing each other this coming up weekend. Sargent and Hoppy. It's going to be Schalke versus Brennan. I think 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. So that's going to be once we talk about the games for the weekend, that's going to be the game of the weekend right there. But Sargent, with all this buzz coming around Hoppe the last 2 weeks, Sargent finally fired back with uh, a cracker from like 25 yards out.
Oh yeah, it was nice.
Beautiful goal. He had a great turn he put on the defender and struck it, and it swerved off the outside of his foot. An excellent goal, and it's great to see Sargent scoring and just showing what he can do.
It was a well-deserved goal, and maybe the goal of the year so far for United States men's national team players.
Hmm.
It's early, it's late January, so obviously nothing much to shout there so far. But just kind of, I'm still here. Don't forget about me. All this noise going on about Matthew Hoppe, and it
Hmm.
was nice to see him get on the score sheet. Um, we can't leave Germany without talking about what Julian Green is doing.
Yeah.
Y-
7 goals and 3 assists right now for this season over in the second division in Germany right now. I believe he's the 10th highest rated player right now when it comes to all players in
He
that
is.
second division. And Julian Green is going to get a chance with one of these squads that are coming up this year, whether it be CONCACAF Nations League, whether it be the Gold Cup, or whether it be World Cup qualifying. He's going to get his chance on the national team for one. There's no way he won't. He's just playing that good right now, and his team is battling right now to potentially get promoted up to the first division in Germany, to where he can be back in the Bundesliga. So it's great to see Julian Green playing excellent. I know people hear his name like, oh, what is he, 31, 32? I mean, he's only 25 years old. Like, he was just that young back then in the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah.
And I think it's great for him. It's great to see him playing this excellent. We're all excited.
Exactly. I mean, it'd be crazy to see him get that team up into the Bundesliga. And like you said, he's only 25. He's a good midfielder or winger, whatever you want to play
Yeah, I
him. He's
mean, he's
very
arguably
versatile.
getting into his prime right now. Like, players reach their prime between 25 to 28 years old. So I mean, he's just getting into his prime right now, and he's playing the best soccer he's played, his whole career.
Exactly. So out of all the United States men's national team players, the man of the hour right now is Weston McKennie, and we just have to congratulate him on winning the Coppa Italiana, which is for those of you that don't know, the Serie A winner versus the Coppa Italia winner play each other in the next season, and Juventus won that against Napoli, and it's the first cup that an American player has won in Italy. So just a big congrats to
Yeah,
Weston
big
McKennie.
big shout out to McKinney. He's been playing excellent, arguably the best midfielder right now for Juventus, which is crazy to think of when
With the
even
players
when
they
we
have.
when we heard the loan was happening when he was getting loaned out over to Juve. I don't, we expected him to play, but I don't think anybody expected him to be the best midfielder on the squad, and it's just excellent to see this. I mean, he is world class the way he's playing right now. It's excellent.
Exactly. And also just a big shout to Serginho Dest, who's just keeping it locked. Barcelona has had some up and down performances lately, but they're keeping it going over in their league respectively. Just couldn't tie it together over it. They could have won a title last week, and Messi got a red card, the first of his career, and just nothing went right. I think Dest took a knock and didn't actually play the whole match. But
Yeah.
from what I've read, he seems to be fine now, so that's always a plus. We want to keep our players healthy, and we want to make sure they're not playing too many minutes, so that they can still perform for their country, respectively. What do you think of
Yeah,
Dest?
exactly.
You just
Yeah, he's definitely and I did see an article come out on ESPN the other day talking about how Des kind of was talking about how he feels like he lost his confidence
Mhm.
throughout the last month, being in and out of the lineup. Obviously, just had that little injury, but for him, he just needs playing time. Once he's 100% fit and back in there, give him some more playing time. He's a really good player, and once he gets back in there and gets game time, he's just gonna get back into a groove of things like how he was at the beginning of the season.
totally agree. So we're gonna dive into that USA roster. But before we get into that, I gotta say how excited I am for this match. It's gonna be played in Florida. There's going to be fans there. So first game that we've had with fans in over a calendar year. So that's pretty awesome. And we've got a roster filled with players who haven't made their caps yet. Um, Obviously, you've got Josie Altidore on there, who has played a lot for this team, has scored a
115,
lot of goals. Uh,
115 games and 42 goals.
but I'll kick it off here at keepers. I know you've got your eyes on one who you'd bet your money on is going to be scoring, and who's that?
Yeah,
Sorry, not scoring, starting.
yeah, starting Matt Turner, out of the New England Revolution. Sean Johnson was on the squad, but he did pick up an injury, so I think it was in between Johnson and Turner. Turner's arguably the best keeper in the MLS.
Mhm.
If it wasn't for the MLS playoffs, he would have been on the squad. Just I believe early January, or was it late December?
Yeah,
When they played the game in Florida. He would definitely would have been on that squad. But because of MLS playoffs, he wasn't included. He's been playing excellent, and I think he's the best keeper right now in the pool coming out of the MLS. And he's potentially gonna make a run to be on these World Cup qualifying squads, Gold Cup squads, and he's gonna
Hmm.
get a chance to potentially be that number two keeper, maybe behind Stefan,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
three. Because and when you look at the World Cup, you bring three keepers, and I don't see why not why he can't be one of those three. But definitely, I see Matt Turner starting at goal.
Exactly. And I mean besides Stefan, and we've talked about Horvath on this show before. We don't
Hmm.
have a lot of players over in Europe at the goalkeeper position. So you're
Nope.
kind of just looking at the MLS saying, all right, who wants this spot?
Yeah,
Who wants a
who's the
spot on the
guy?
roster?
Hmm.
And Matt Turner's performed. We've also got Matt Freeze from the Philadelphia Union and JT Martinkowski from San Jose Earthquakes. All three players are uncapped.
Yep.
With one match, I don't think they're going to switch keepers at halftime or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I don't see that happening either.
Yeah, so I think Matt Turner gets the well-deserved start and hopefully a clean sheet. But we'll start with our defense now and think about if that clean sheet is something realistic. So just going to go down the list kind of real quick. We got Julian Araujo, who did play in the last go
Yep.
round from the LA Galaxy.
Yep.
George Bello from Atlanta, who hasn't played for the United States yet. Kyle Duncan, he got his first cap uh, from New York Red Bull. Aaron Herrera from Real Salt Lake is uncapped. And then you've got the big guns, Aaron Long, who for the Red Bull, he has 18 caps and all, has also scored 3 goals. He's
Yep.
probably a starter here.
Yeah, definitely. I think Aaron Long would be one of the starters at center back,
Yeah,
and the other would be between Walker Zimmerman and then Miles Robinson, who I've talked about in the past,
yeah,
potentially being one of the guys coming out of the United States for that center back position. Obviously, Mark McKenzie's now over in Europe, and I think Miles Robinson would be that next guy in line, next young guy who's been playing really good in the MLS. And
yeah.
I'm glad to see him get another chance. He's had 2 caps, and glad to see him back on this roster, and hopefully we'll be able to see him, if not start, at least get subbed in. I do think it's probably going to be Walker Zimmerman and Aaron Long. I would say
Mhm.
probably starting at that center back position,
Yeah.
and then I mean, go ahead and talk about the rest of the
Yeah, well,
defenders.
my favorite defender on this list is probably Sam Vines out of Colorado.
Yeah, I was about to
Um,
say that too.
I
Yeah,
think he's absolutely fantastic and might have a starting spot on this team. What do you think?
yeah, no, I definitely expect him to be starting at the fullback position. I believe he plays. Is he left back? I believe he plays on the left side. So we talk about how we don't really have left backs behind Robinson. Sam Vines could potentially be that guy.
Yeah,
Between Antoine Robinson over at the left back position. He's an excellent young left back in the MLS right now, and I can definitely see him potentially getting the move over to Europe within the next couple of years.
exactly. So the midfield I think looks pretty good. What do you think? Just from looking at it really quick,
Hmm.
we've got a lot of really good players there. Just Kellen Acosta, 24 caps, 2 goals out of Colorado. We've seen him play for this team many times. We know what he can do.
Hmm.
We've watched him play for the Rapids. We know what he can do.
Hmm.
Sebastian Lletget, he's also
Hmm.
bagged a couple goals for the team. Played 17
Yep.
games from the LA Galaxy. Christian Roldan, who I love. Maybe he'll finally get his first goal for the United States. Has 19
Yeah.
caps. And then Jackson Ewell from San Jose has 8 caps. And then you've got the guys who haven't played yet: Benji Michael out of Orlando, Andres Pereira out of Orlando, and Tanner Tessman out of Dallas. And Tessman can play.
Yeah. No.
Um,
Tasman's a really, really good player. I think, and he's just like how I am with Sam Vines, like how we really are big on Sam Vines. Tanner Tessman, he's an excellent midfielder right now. I would love to see him get this start because obviously we got a bunch of veterans like Acosta and Roldan and Leggett, but we kind of already know what those three can do.
mhm,
I'd love for them to put Tanner in and let him start and get it. And if you sub him out, you sub him out, but at least let him start and see what he can do out there for the squad in his first
exactly.
step.
And we already mentioned Josie Altidore at the forwards, but we've also got Paul Arriola, who's
Hmm.
played a ton of games for this team,
Yep.
uh, and Chris Mueller, who's played one but has 2 goals. Uh, Jesus
Yes.
Ferreira out of Dallas, who's been capped, and then Daryl TK should have got his first cap. His last call up caught
Had to
an
pull out
injury
with the injury. Yep.
that kind of let us down a little bit. And then we've got Jonathan Lewis out of Colorado. So it's a really good squad. Just going
Yeah.
off of all the
It's
MLS
going to be
players.
interesting what formation they run. I would love for them to run a two striker formation and potentially see Josie and DK right next to each other. Even if they run two strikers, I don't know if they'll play them next to each other because they kind of are the same type of striker. So
Yeah.
I would really probably predict to see something like Josie and Areola up top, or Josie and Chris Mueller, and then sub out Josie for Daryl DK because they're two of the same. They're big physical guys with a great physicality, a great shot, nowhere to be around goal. And I think when you're playing one of those guys, you want to have a smaller speed guy like Areola or Jonathan Lewis or Chris Mueller up there with them, just to do the give and goes, kind of like how Pulisic and Giroud do over at Chelsea.
Exactly. This is a really good squad. Just even though it's so young, you still have a lot of these really big names. And I got to shout out Orlando on this. Out of this roster, they've got 4 players. They are a team who's 4 years into existence,
Yeah.
and they are developing really young, really good players over there already. So
Hmm.
just big congrats to them. 4 players on this roster is pretty insane considering
And
all of the long time teams that we have in the MLS, that they're the one with the most players capped is pretty nuts. But like we said, the game is on Sunday, 7 o'clock, and we've kind
on
of got a
Fox
bit
Sports
bit
1.
of a surprise for you guys here. So we're going to be live streaming during the game. It'll be on Facebook, probably YouTube as well. All the details of that will be coming out over on our Facebook group if you're not on that. So we'll probably start about 6:40, 6:45 with the lineup, talk about what we think, maybe players that we should have thought started, things of that nature. We'll live stream talking about the game and then do a little bit of closeout after the game. We can't wait. I'm super excited to just release more content to you guys. It's going to be awesome. I think. What are you giving me your match preview? What's the score?
I think USA is going to win 3-0. I think that's my prediction. I'm excited to see what the starting lineup's going to be like. Like David said, come in, watch the live stream. It's going to be fun. We're going to give our opinions on how the team's playing on the lineup during the match, what we think can be changed if there's certain tactics that aren't working, what we think should be switched at halftime, substitutes who we think should be subbed in, who we think the player of the match is. And then obviously we'll do the post game wrap up to where we just talk a brief 5-10 minutes and just give our overall thoughts on the match.
As we do with podcast episodes, I will try my best to keep it clean. But if we score or if Trinidad scores, I don't know how I'll react. So I'm not making any promises there.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna take it into the weekend games besides the United States game. So we'll go through Saturday first, but my eyes are on Sunday because Chelsea kicks off at 7 a.m. and United States kicks off at 7 p.m. So I know what I'm doing for roughly 14 hours on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we'll start Saturday. Saturday kicks off with a big one with Bremen versus Schalke at 9:30.
Hmm.
Uh, the competition for United States striker is
Yeah, arguably
heating up.
two of the names up near the top right now, just with the way they're playing. Hoppe versus Sargent. It's going to be real interesting to see them both play. They're both on weaker sides right now, so both of them should definitely get multiple opportunities right now, and I think it should be a good game for both of them to bag at least one goal or maybe two. It's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, I can't wait. That'll be it's not even an early rise. I say 9:30 early rise.
Yeah, 9:30 a.m. ESPN Plus. So
And
make sure to check the game out. It'll be excellent.
also at 9:30, we've got Dortmund is playing Augsburg, so give a look, see if Reyna's in that starting lineup. I'd expect him to be.
Hmm.
I think that's just a good spot for him to get some more confidence going in those boots. Also in Germany, Leipzig, Leverkusen, 12:30 Saturday. This looks to be a good spot for Adams. I think against Leverkusen, you need to be a little bit more defensively. They're a good team, and Adams is somebody who can lock up that midfield and make sure those long balls aren't long through balls aren't coming through, things of that nature. So that's 12:30. All those games are on ESPN Plus. We've also got Swansea, Rotterdam. Could this be where we see our man? Is he starting? Is he
Yeah.
playing?
Obviously they got the game tomorrow. I don't predict him to be starting tomorrow. Maybe get substituted in, but I think this weekend game is going to be the chance for them to get him in that starting 11. He get have him get 3 to 4 training sessions under his belt, and then put him in that starting 11 and see what he can do.
Exactly. Rotterdam sits 22nd, and they're trying not to get demoted or
To the
relegated,
third
whatever you
division,
want to
yeah.
call it.
And
So
Swansea's battling right now for promotion, so I think that'll be a good game. They'll let Morris play his first match and potentially, get a debut goal for the club.
we'd love to see it. Also, elsewhere in Europe, we've got Valencia, Elche. We can't forget about Musa. This man is a beast, and you shouldn't be taking your eyes on him. They're playing off him. They're playing at 12:30 on Saturday on beIN Sports. Also,
Mhm.
Juve Sampdoria is at noon on ESPN Plus. So you've got a chance to catch 4 or 5 American players on ESPN Plus between 9:30 and noon on Saturday. Take that
Yeah.
opportunity. I mean, that it'll be a blast.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good game from Weston McKinney against Sampdoria, I feel. I'd expect him to start there. And now we're going to take it into Sunday. Sunday is just going to go crazy, in my opinion. So it kicks off Chelsea Burnley, 7 o'clock on Sunday. Thomas Tuchel's second game. We'll see how Chelsea does tomorrow. They do have a match against Wolves at 1 o'clock, if anybody wants to catch that. But this game against Burnley, I think, is a big spot for Christian Pulisic to prove himself to his new old manager.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yep, because obviously they were together over there at Dortmund. He's the one that pretty much gave Pulisic his first start on the team over at Dortmund, and that's when he first came to his own.
And we all remember what Pulisic did against Burnley last year.
Yeah,
Was score a Premier League
100%.
hat trick. So, this is the time now. The time to get it done. Lille versus Dijon, 11 o'clock on Sunday. Dijon sits 18th out of 20. So Lille's still battling for that title. They're sitting second, but if there's a spot for our guy to start, we say
it's gonna be
frequently.
it'll be this game. Yeah,
This
he's been playing. He's been coming in as a substitute pretty much every single
played
game.
20 minutes yesterday.
Staying 20, 15, 20 minutes late here and there. I think he could start this game. This is a lower team in the table. They're playing. I think this will be a great game to hopefully see Timothy Weah get a start.
Yeah, and for a little context here, I mean, the way Ligue 1 is, the French league compared to England, 18th is not anywhere near the caliber of first through fifth. It's not, you're not looking in England where you say Fulham can battle with anybody on any given day, in my opinion. Dijon cannot battle with PSG, cannot battle with Lille, can probably not even hit Marseille right now. So this is a good spot for Timothy Weah to get in the lineup. So that's at 11 o'clock on Sunday. We'll release any TV info if there is any. Noon, Wolfsburg, Freiburg on ESPN Plus. We
John
know who's
Brooks
starting
again.
center back, John Brooks, as he
The
does.
wall of Brooks.
The wall of Brooks. We'll call him that from now on. Depending on who you ask, if you value defense, midfield, attacking more, I wouldn't correct you if you said he was the best United States men's national team player.
Probably the most important, honestly.
For sure,
Because
without a
when you're
doubt.
looking, obviously you need the wingers and the strikers, but I would say two of the most important players would be John Brooks and then Tyler Adams over at that number 6 position. Those are two of the most important players on this team.
Because I think most of our positions, you could take somebody out and put somebody else there. You said, oh, they can get the job done. I don't think you can remove Brooks from this lineup and put two center backs there that would be as influential and just as good at clearing the ball and keeping everybody. He's probably the captain if it's not for Pulisic. So he's a great player, and he'll start at this game on ESPN at noon, and 3 o'clock on beIN Sport, Barcelona versus Athletic Bilbao. This is probably a spot for Dest to get another start against a big club. So you've got 7 o'clock, 11 o'clock, noon, and 3 o'clock. Then you get your little bit of break, and then you've got United States at 7. So it's a weekend filled with matches, and if there's any other starting spots that we catch, we'll probably post it on our Twitter, we'll post it on our Facebook, let you guys know about it, and just keeping everybody informed on when and where they can catch these games. Because now is, as we've said several times, that we've got a lot of players. Now we've got even more, and they're getting even more minutes. So if you want to know these guys when we get that roster for the World Cup next year, hopefully we're in the World Cup, or we get the roster for the qualifying or the Gold Cup over the summer, also keep an eye out. I've heard that over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll finally see that qualifying for the Olympic schedule come out. It's supposed to happen between March 15th and March 30th is the games. So we're almost into February here, and we don't have a schedule yet. And one of those games will be against Mexico. Because we're in their group.
U23. So that's going to be some big news to come out, and we'll definitely get that posted on all of our social media channels once we hear about that.
For sure. Well, I just want to thank everybody so much. Keep an eye out on, we're going to post on YouTube. We're going to post on the Facebook chat, Twitter, all the information going forward with this game. And I can't wait. I'm excited. I get amped up whenever the United States men's national team plays. I'll throw on my Michael Bradley jersey. I'll enjoy the game, and hopefully we get a good win. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much.
Sure.